It is a trap. It is a trap indeed. The question is, can I make this work right? Refresh chat. There it is. Can you guys hear me? Hold on a second, guys. All right. You can see and hear. That is fantastic. Hold on a second. Shadowcat is here. I gotta go get my metallic water. All right, all right, all right. So, we have got on the table, over to our right, we have our regular water. Over to our left, we have our metallic water, just for Shadowcat. I apparently actually tossed that cup that said Shadowcat's metallic water on it, but we've got a new one. I'm super sick. But I put this off once already, so we're gonna get it done today. So what do we have here? This is the resin engine Lucrehulk, scaled 170%, so that it's in line with the O'Neill Creations Lucrehulk core. That supposedly O'Neill's Lucrehulk is coming out this month. He said this month, but probably not before Christmas because his solid state drive died. All right, my wife says we sound pretty good. So, what else do we have? We have 6mm scale lats that are going to go on our Etsy page to match our other Clone Wars 6mm scale stuff. This is just the O'Neill Creations lat scaled up to 1:300, which is 6mm scale. We also, a Lucrehulk would not be complete without droids. So here are our droid fighters. These are the O'Neill Creations Vulture droids on our paint sticks. This was a really quick paint job, you could tell, because there's got tons of gaps everywhere. This is just primed with Wraithbone and then speed painted with, what is this, Skeleton Horde? Yeah, Skeleton Horde. We also have been printing C9979s like a maniac, not just to fill orders, but to get ready to shoot our big Lucrehulk video. And last but not least, One Page Rules just released Warfleets 2.0, which has been officially rebranded Grimdark Future Warfleets. So we're going to be doing a ton of content on there because I think that'll probably be our newest miniature game that we play on our channel. And I've sent the rules out to all my local group for approval, and they all seem to be interested in it, so we'll see how that goes. But we're here for the Lucrehulk. This is a prototype. You know, we did the FDM one that we showed on social media, and that one was okay. This one was to make sure that we could actually print it. This was printed on on our 3 printers all at once. It took about 20 hours for each printer to churn this guy out. And we turn up the music a little bit. You can see that the middle printer, this is the printer that's having this is the section that we printed that's having problems. We're gonna have to replace the screen. We just got the screen from Elegoo today, and you can see like there's failures there, and you see these are straight line failures, showing that this is a screen issue on here. I don't know if you can see that. By the way, if the video looks higher fidelity, that's because we changed from a couple old crappy solutions or cheap crappy solutions to an actual Elgato Camlink 4K that's connected to our Sony A6300 on our overhead camera. We can get real close on here, or we can go out to about there. Don't want to show too much of our table because our table is dirty, but we're gonna have to take care of that because we have guests coming over on the 25th and 28th. We somehow got roped into doing 2 Christmas dinners, so we're gonna get that going. So let's talk about colors. I played around on the back of this with contrast Space Wolves Gray, and I don't think this is the color that we want to go with. So we're going to lean on our old favorite. This is Archive X ILM Stormy Sea. Archive X did a couple different runs of paints that are supposed to be color matches for the paint colors that you saw, or the studio colors that you saw in the original Star Wars movies. So we're going to use Stormy Sea on here. If you look at on the screen, you can see the inspiration picture. We're going to do things the way that we normally do them. So all these sensors will be painted in gray night steel. The engine cones, or at least the portion of the engine cones that we have on here, are going to be painted in our not lead belcher. This is a medium flow-aid and apple barrel gunmetal. And then we will attempt on this section right here, or actually no, excuse me, on this section right here, to paint Stormy Seas and make it look good. We'll see if we actually achieve that. I don't know. Excuse me. Go ahead, Julie. All right. So, and you know, we've got lots of details, like there's windows on here. On the inside of the thing, it's got all these circles, and I think that we're going to grab our pale sand. If I can find my pale sand. And you know, every time oh, here it is. Our pale sand, and paint all these as windows. Although on a vessel this big, those windows would be absolutely ginormous. But you know, it's a 3D model, so it is what it is. Every time I talk about pale sand, I think about Dana Howell and the videos that she's done with a couple other creators, where whenever they mention pale sand, she's like, "What, pale sand?" So we got in the chat, we have Tyrell Lord. Hello, Tyrell. Thank you very much for putting out your Omega. I have a first print of the Omega right here. It's not straight, but it's pretty good. And who else do we have? We have Shadowcat. Hi, Shadowcat. I hope you guys are having a good day. Let's shake the crap out of this granite steel and throw some paint on some sensors. Yo, printing this to test print is a good opportunity to see what you need to change about what you did. You know, when we go to support things in our slicer, if they're not pre-supported, we start with automatic supports. We use Lychee Slicer, and we have our supports on light supports set to ultra density. But you can see on here that this part right here and this part right here didn't get the best supports. So when we go to print this as a customer order, we're going to need to make sure that that gets supported. Or we're going to take the plunge here, and we're going to start painting our sensor items. Now this Lucrehulk is definitely the droid control ship variant, not the battleship variant. And someone asked if we're going to put out a battleship, and I considered. We'll see what O'Neill Creations puts out. If he has different holes, because O'Neill likes to do variety and Sussy likes to do variety, so we may see a separate droid control ship and battleship variant. If not, though, what we could end up doing is grabbing some turrets off of another Clone Wars model and lining the trench here with holes that you could insert your own turrets into. That way we don't have to worry about printing the turrets and having them come out on their own. Know what I mean? Tyrell says, yeah, getting the Omega straightened is sometimes an uphill battle. I tried to do a single piece version, but my CAD program runs out of memory trying to... Go away, little heart. Trying to do that, so I'll try after my next full reboot. Yeah, I know what you mean with the memory issues. I've been talking to customers about the Eclipse that we have coming out, and that model is such a pain in the butt to modify, to slice, to do anything, because the file itself is like 1.5 gigs, and to have a slicer program or another program like handle that, it's hard. Yeah, it starts behaving as you as I was slicing it to get it ready for printing, because it was not, I don't think it was designed with 3D printing in mind. See, there's supports on here that needed to be removed. That's kind of a big deal, getting that file, getting big files like that ready to go. And with source files, you know, when you publish something as an STL, I'm guessing your source files might actually be a lot bigger than the files that we see as consumers. What do you think? You know, I was hoping today was going to be very low key, but it turned out that I had a couple of appointments, and I was out and about till the very end of the day getting those appointments done. Customers needing dents fixed. But I'm just glad that we did it. I really didn't want to go to work today. I've been feeling quite poor. But since I had made those commitments, I didn't want to reschedule them. And now that I pushed through it, I can breathe easy, knowing that those appointments don't need to be revisited in the future. And, you know, happy customers. Doing YouTube and 3D printing is an excellent side gig. But my main occupation is pushing dents out of cars for car dealerships, dent warranty customers, retail customers when I can get them. And I didn't think that this would be a big deal, but I get a lot of satisfaction out of the fact that I'm pretty dang good at my job. Now, you can doubt yourself, and you know, especially with the fact that my job is mostly just me by myself for most of my day. You could sit there talking yourself into a spiral of negativity, but you know, it is very freeing being able to say, oh hey, I'm actually good at my job. I don't know if I'm good at all aspects of my job. I think I could be better at finding new customers, but ultimately what we do is dents, and I feel like I'm good enough at dents to get some job satisfaction out of it. Tyrell says, yeah, the raw CAD files can get pretty big. I think the Omega is close to 100 megs at this point. It's a lot. It's a lot for a 3D model. But when you look at the details in here, which you can't see on this model, not because the model didn't print well, but because the resin that Soriatech sent us was supposed to be gray, and it was kind of like this clear translucent. So even with a prime, now priming and spray priming in the winter kind of sucks, but even with a prime, you can't really see the details. But all these hatches in here, the details on the crossbeam for the rotating section, that's a lot of detail, and your 3D modeling program has to be able to chug that out. We're just using our cheap Citadel base coat brush to get this layer on here. I'm kind of nervous putting the Stormy Sea on here because big flat panels are kind of my bane. You know, I make it a point to review my year on the things that I said I was going to do and things that I actually did do. And we actually did pretty dang good on that. We didn't end up getting to any of the Second Dynasty 28mm scale starships for painting, so that'll be continuing next year, which is exciting because Second Dynasty is revisiting their 28mm scale Transport Delta, which is their Millennium Falcon lookalike. And one of our goals for 2024 is to get into airbrushing. We have a Badger Patriot 105 in the garage with a cheap compressor. I think we'll end up trying to get a different compressor so that I can airbrush in the house without driving my wife nuts. And then, okay, metallics. So that should lead to better base coating. That was the point of that whole meandering story. Okay, that was Grey Knight Steel. Let's grab our gunmetal. which is right here. We're going to put the gunmetal on the engine cones and these little pipe thingies. There's no actual weapons on this. We'll probably do the claws as well. There's no actual weapons on this guy. Which, I mean, makes sense. It was supposed to be a secret that it was going to be an armed vessel eventually. A Q-ship, if you will. Which I love. I think the idea of having the Lucrehulk, this giant 3,000 meter starship, as a Q-ship in Star Wars is great. I've been fascinated with the idea of Q-ships ever since reading Honor Harrington. And having the Lucrehulk be like a secret warship is pretty cool. And of course, we are going to use for our engine glow some P3 Arcane Blue. I don't know if it super matches the correct engine glow of a Lucrehulk, but that doesn't really matter. After all, Fantasy Flight Games released their Super Star Destroyer with the wrong engine glow, right? Am I right? Stephen Bennett, hi. Wow, what is that compared to the size of the SSD? So this is, I think, 316 millimeters long. And according to Rebel Scale, which is where I get all the measurements for starships if I'm being lazy, rebelscale.com says the Executor is 62 centimeters long. So it's more than double this. Now, that gets into weird scaling questions. And, you know, those are my favorite questions. So, your Imperial Star Destroyer is 1,600 meters. The official Armada 1 is 1 in 7,900 scale. This is 316 millimeters. So this is around 1 in 12,000 scale. And then if you look at the Executor, the scale of the Executor is 1 in 30,547 scale. What is Laser Pig? I think I'm... Excuse me. I think I'm too boomer to know what that is. I mean, I'm not a boomer. I'm a millennial. But... darn kids and your darn music. This illness is probably not going to kill me. I get something like this almost every year. Most years it has led to pneumonia, which is fun. But about September, I was given the pneumonia vaccine. Now that doesn't protect against all strains of pneumonia, but bacterial pneumonia it's supposed to protect, or excuse me, viral pneumonia it's supposed to protect against. So we'll see how sick I get with this fantastic little cold that we've got here. The throat's scratchy. I wore a mask at work today to make sure that nobody got sick. Of course, I'm only close to people for a couple minutes in a day, so that helps. But cough, cough. I feel like I'm dying. My poor wife, you know, she normally takes care of the house anyway, and I'm just this little limp noodle now. Excuse me. Need some water. Oh, Laser Pig is he's a historical YouTuber, huh? I've been on a huge kick with historical YouTubers recently with who Epithemius, Extra History. There's a couple other guys out there. Overly Sarcastic Productions. They're a history, they're a history and mythology YouTuber that I absolutely love. Love them. Love them to death. You know what I should do? I should grab a C-70 Charger and paint it up in red like it's a consular ship. You know, the C-70 Charger Corvette in the Republic Navy was based on the Consular Corvette. They call it the Charger refit. That's probably my favorite ship out of the Republic, which is weird. I mean, the Venator is gorgeous, right? The Venator is this this quintessential Republic ship. You know, it's got that vaguely Star Destroyer look, but it's just different enough from the Empire. And the Acclamator is just this amazing marvel of Republic design. But yeah, the C-70 Charger really pushes my buttons. I'm glad that we get to sell the one from Resin Engine. Heck, we actually have 4 different versions of that. We have the Resin Engine one, and then Utar Games has 3 different variants of the Republic Light Attack Craft that are just supposed to be more bulky refits as the war goes on, as the Clone Wars go on. I should do a video on that. I say that, man. I have so many videos in my backlog that I've written scripts for, or I've shot videos for. I just haven't had a chance to put them together. Life keeps getting in the way, and it's kind of annoying. But although I learned some new tricks in DaVinci Resolve, and hopefully those new tricks will lead to a much more engaging video to watch. So look for the next video for that, because those are little new tips and tricks are in the box already. So we're ready to go in there. All right, so that's the metallics done. We could go in here in the trench and do some metallics. I'm gonna take a break from that though for a second. Gonna grab our pale sand and go in all the circular sections on here and carefully paint them up. So we got our dry palette here. That's ages old, needs to be primed again so it stops picking up and reactivating old paints. Stir your pale sand up. Alrighty. Stephen Bennett says he's really funny, talks a lot about military machines. He talks mostly about historical technology, tanks, ships, planes. Ooh, okay. That's right up my alley. All right, guys, what do you think about that? You see that? Is pale sand the right call there? I think it is. I think that is the right call. You guys have any opinions in chat? Oh, there's probably a 30-second delay, so you guys can't see that yet. Okay, once the broadcast delay comes around, guys, tell me if you think pale sand is a good color to simulate the lights in the on the sections. While we're waiting, we're just gonna press on. Make sure you can see that. Tyrell says it's looking good from here. That's good enough for me. All right, guys, I got to ask you, if you watch a lot of YouTube, have you seen the H-Bomber guy's video on plagiarism? This hit pretty close to home because I consider what I've been doing with the lore on my videos kind of what he's talking about in that video. But I don't think, I'm not trying to pass stuff off as my own. There's the hilarious idea that people can say copyright not intended, and that somehow absolves them from taking other people's content. But if you watch my videos, a good portion of my videos are me reading Wikipedia articles, and I mentioned that they were from Wikipedia, and I've got the link in the description generally, but I think I'm gonna have to do a better job in the future making sure that the people whose work that I'm actually spouting off in my videos, that people know that that's not my work. Tyrell, it's a slog. It's 4 hours long. And depending on how you digest YouTube, maybe that's something that you could do pretty easy, but I love it. I love the fact that it's like, surprise, you thought the video was this, it's actually something else. I love that guy's content. Yeah, I could tell that he is very, very passionate about that stuff, and he's a video essayist. And the stuff that he covers in his video essays are pretty salacious, like the danger that the Roblox marketplace represents to children, and plagiarism, and like people misattributing where things come from, like the oof sound. It's very interesting. It's a weird, in some ways, like YouTube and the internet is the wild west for content and copyright and stuff like that. And in other ways, it's really not. Like, I don't know. I have lots of thoughts, and I'm going to change my behavior because of the plagiarism video, but it's interesting how that stuff comes about. I'm having a hard time getting into that angle. I think if you end up getting a Lucrehulk for yourself, whether it's the O'Neill Creations one or the Resin Engine one, you should paint it and then assemble it. Like prime it the way you're going to prime it, but paint the sections before you assemble it. I mean, we don't know what the O'Neill Creations one is going to look like, but based on his other big ship, the MC 104, it's probably going to be a little easier to paint than this. All right, let's take a break. Chat, what you're saying. Tara said, Maine, I've watched down the rabbit hole, the 6-hour video on EVE Online, so I just need to sit and finish it while painting some evening. I think there's a big difference between someone who's got millions of sub and someone who's got 900 or so. No offense meant. Someone putting something else's work on the internet is as old as, well, the internet. That being said, he's absolutely right with all his points. Yeah, I don't feel attacked on what his, like, I am not the subject of H Bomber Guy's video. I don't think I'm the subject of that video, but what I do think is that we can all do better. And, you know, I can keep doing exactly what I'm doing as long as I make it very clear in everything. And even go even further and say, you know, this is from Wikipedia, but this is the source that Wikipedia took this from, and be fine. But like the creators that he's talking about, especially that last person in this video, man, those people are kind of, it's interesting. I you know, I don't know any of them. I have never I've never consumed internet historians' work or Illuminati's work or James, is it Somerton? Those aren't creators that are on my radar. But man, they were on H Bomber Guy's radar, right? Damn. This is messy, but so few people are going to see this on the tabletop that I think it's okay. All right, so we got a few more windows to do. I was going to have my iPad sitting here updating me with chat, but I couldn't get it to work. So now I'm just seeing the lock screen come alive every time someone favorites something on Etsy. All right, that's probably not all of them. Oh, let's do the let's do these guys. Let's see if I can't mess this up a little bit. Yeah, this is getting messed up, so I'm just gonna go bloop, bloop. You know, if I was smart, while I was at at the Warhammer store picking up paint, I should have just picked up a pot of Grey Seer, so I could go do those windowsills again. Yeah, whatever. All right, windows done. All right, let's catch up on chat. Drink some water. Tyrell says the Lucrehulk is a design I really like, even if I haven't gotten either one of the ones printed or painted yet. The thing is just enormous, quite a beast to bring to the table. It's good if Stephen Bennett says it's good if you're thinking about it. I know that Eckhart does a lot of work to make sure that the artists and ship designers don't get their work ripped off. Oh yeah, Eckhart's Ladder. You know, he is a lawyer. He's passed the Canadian bar. So I think he's pretty good at that stuff, making sure that people don't get ripped off. But I remember when he was talking about Disney Comics and how Disney Comics kept ripping people off. Like they would take content from his Mel's Miniatures, including the pegs, and then just trace over that and put it in their comic books. Actually, I mean, I don't really know how the layout of comic books are done, but that's what it looks like they were doing. All right. Now this is where this all falls apart. So, Stormy Sea. Archive X are pretty cool. We wrote to them when we got our paint because we had seen their paint featured in a I think it was Geek Gaming Scenics did a Star Wars diorama, and talked about their paint, and as soon as I saw that, I went and bought it. And I mentioned that I emailed them. I was like, "Hey, I bought this paint because of these videos," and they hadn't even heard of the videos yet. It's interesting. All right, guys, we're gonna do 2 panels. We need to thin our paint a little bit more than that. Okay. We're going to wait until chat catches up with this. We're going to ask you guys about this color. This is Stormy Sea. Let me know if this is the color that you think we should proceed for our CIS color. Let's clean that up a little bit. Where's my hobby knife? You can see all these zits are from where supports were. Some of them are fine. When I say actual like support residue, well not residue, but fragments, I don't want that on there. We've been streaming for 42 minutes. We're not gonna get this done tonight, guys. We're gonna stop after an hour. Because I'm a tired bear. Oh, that reminds me. I was at work, and there's this young car salesman at the dealership that I work at, and he started calling me a teddy bear. And he was like, "You're not offended by that, are you?" I'm like, "No, man. I've been called teddy bear by lots of people in my life. I'm a very big guy. First of all, I'm 6'3". I have very wide shoulders, and it's a shame that I didn't play football. But I'm also, right now, like 380 pounds. I'm a huge, disgusting blob of a man. And so, like, people calling me teddy bear, that's a tale as old as time for me. We got insurance approval to go on semaglutide with Wegovy, but we have not been able to get that prescription fulfilled because they can't keep up with demand. Our pharmacist told us that once we get past the initial dose, because it's a step dose, so it steps up after a while. You know, the intensity increases until you're at the maximum dose or whatever dosing standards they have. But that initial dose is the dose that they don't seem to be able to get into, and it's an injectable, so I can understand why they're not like mixing it there at the pharmacy. Tyrell says, "I love finding leftover support bits as I start painting. It seems to happen nearly every time. Sometimes they give a unit character, though. Sometimes they do. They absolutely do. Sometimes they don't, though. I think this is going to be fine, which is why I've proceeded, despite not getting feedback yet. And I think doing the triangle sections on the end bits here aren't going to be bad because we've got all these straight edges, so we just have to draw a line. That one might be a little too big, but what ifs? See? Instant triangle. Then do the raised panel. Do a triangle here. Oop, there we go. So when we do this video for the Lucrehulk, we will have 12 C9979s on the table. We'll have 6 squadrons of droid fighters on the table. It's going to look pretty awesome. Tyrell says, I think a few coats of the blue would probably build up a dark enough shade. Yeah, probably. Yeah, we could do that. Again, we're not finishing tonight, so there's no rush up there. Also, a few coats will make sure that it looks a little more even. You know, after all, 2 thin coats, right? Excuse me. Let's drink some more water. Okay. Looking at the... I'm going to have to freehand the CIS symbol, and that is not something I'm looking forward to, man. That is going to look quite janky. Okay, so in the image, you know, let me pull up a bigger version of the image. I'm looking at the one in Streamlabs, and I don't need to do that. Here we go. There's a big triangle here, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to draw a line right here, and draw a line right here, and go like this. Connect that dot, and connect that dot, and then fill it in. Yeah, that works kind of. I mean, livery, I don't expect the livery on ships to be uniform. You know, different shipyards applying paint are going to apply paint in different ways. So, livery can be different. There's nothing that says that has to be uniform and the same. We're going for an inspired by section anyway. Excuse me. Ugh. I have somehow... Okay, so... Snazzy Labs and MKBHD both talked about an app called Beeper. Or Beeper Mini. This app supposedly allows you to... Basically the same serial steps that you take when you're building a Hackintosh to basically spoof Apple's serialization of their software. Beeper Mini has found that they can spoof a iMessage client onto your Android phone, so you can have iMessage on your Android phone, which is awesome. You know, I've tested it out. I showed. I was texting a guy at work, a car salesman at work, and I had said, "Hey, did my text message come blue?" And he's like, "I didn't even notice." I'm like, and we looked at it, and sure enough, it worked. But I think it broke my MMS messaging because I'm part of this big group chat for my partnership, which has like 14 members in it, and I keep getting failed messages outside that group chat from those people, and I don't think those people are texting me. I think those are MMS messages from that group chat not loading. If that's the case, that's kind of lame. Okay, we're gonna try and freehand a triangle. You ready for this? Gonna start with a line right there. There we go. Gonna go like that, connect it, like that, connect it. Not the best triangle, but you know, I'm just a filthy 8 or filthy monkey. There we go. Okay, guys, what do you think? I think this is dried enough. We're gonna go put a second coat here, second coat here, second coat here, We were gonna do a giveaway for the channel for December, but I think we're actually gonna push our end of the year giveaway into January. It's gonna be. I was trying to figure out a way of doing an escalating giveaway for like a subscriber count, but apparently that is a violation of YouTube's terms of service. So we're gonna have to do something else to kind of celebrate the end of the year. It's gonna be our Zan Consortium giveaway that we talked about, but we're gonna have to figure out a different way to do it. So I'm looking at like Gleam.io or other giveaway software. I might just do it the way we've done it for the whole year, but I don't know yet. Still working it out. We've got all the ships printed, though. So in the past, when we've announced the giveaway, the ships that we were giving away weren't painted yet. So winners had to wait for me to print their ships in my print queue. And no one expressed any dissatisfaction with that. But I think it's better for everyone if we already have the ships ready to go when we announce our giveaway. So stay tuned for that. The giveaway is going to be a Keldabi battleship, an aggressor Star Destroyer. I thought about doing a Eclipse because the Zan Consortium briefly had control of the Eclipse, but that was really a heist. They didn't use that as a capital ship, so I don't think we're gonna have that on there. But it's gonna be a Keldabe, a aggressor, 2 Vengeance frigates, 2 interceptors, 2 Action 5 transports. We're doing just the ships that were unique to the Zan Consortium in Star Wars Forces of Corruption, but there's still going to be a ton of ships in there. Every ship will come with a stand. We'll ask this time specifically that you share the video. It won't be a requirement because we can't enforce that. But it'll be a specific request. And I don't know what I'm going to ask people. So in the past, I've asked, like, what's your favorite video game? What's your favorite fighter? What's your favorite capital ship? What's your favorite non-Star Wars thing? I don't know what we're going to ask. So if you guys have any ideas on what we should ask, you should let us know. All right. We're going to finish these panels. I think when we return to painting this on our tabletop, we're going to come back and do these armor panels as well. I'm assuming that if you were to build this as a Q ship, that this is these panels right here are where I would put my turbo lasers, my hidden turbo lasers. So maybe we'll do something like that. I don't know. But this stream is coming to a close. Let's catch up on chat real quick. Make sure that everybody... No, Julie, they can't see you. The camera's pointing straight down. That camera's not on. I didn't like that angle, so I didn't turn on the stream cam. Which we need to, because we spent a lot of money on that. But in any case... Alright, let's catch up on chat real quick. Tyrell, so Tyrell asks, how many 3D resin printers are you, I can't see that on here. Let me, dang it. It keeps burying, there it is. Are in your print farm now. We have 3 large resin printers. We have 2 large FDM printers. And we have a couple printers that we need to, basically refurbish and give away that are no longer in our rotation. Yeah. So we can print a whole Lucrehulk in 20 hours, one print job per printer. For the Eclipse, it would probably take us probably 40 hours to print out the Eclipse. But maybe less. There are portions of the Eclipse that are a lot smaller than this spar section. Like the nose of the Eclipse is split into, or is pretty. It's similar size to this, but it's a little smaller. So I don't know. In any case, we want to thank all you guys for joining us and dealing with my scratchy throat and coughing and all that. Seeing you guys in chat is always a pleasant surprise for me. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you next